sweet friends. How are you? I'm not quite sure what the recording in progress meant, but here we go. I am so excited to talk about coaching today, how coaching works, how coaching is different than therapy, what kinds of people work with me, and what forms of coaching I specifically offer, right? So I'm so excited to walk through that with you and do all of the things. It is storming out, so it is quite loud with thunder and the lights are wild. And so I hope it's not too distracting, but here we go. We're just gonna get right to it and talk about all the things. Are you ready? But wait, I just remember before I get started, don't forget that you can join Summer Camp 2021 with the Courageous Life Society. I'm so excited. We are doing camp things. We're writing in our notebooks. We're doing crafts. We're exploring. We're doing meditation. All the things that I want to do that I think would be fun, even though I am not a camper. I appreciate being out in nature and then coming into my own bed that is temperature controlled, but we are just giving yourself some time to enjoy, to take a break, to pause. Everything that you loved about summer camp, well, it's just different. We're adults here. I wish we were in person, but it's going to be virtual. It's going to be so much fun. So at the end, I'm going to tell you more information about what's going to happen and all the things, but that was my plug at the beginning of this session. Okay, so we know, we have all learned that we need extra support at times. The pandemic taught us that, hard times teach us that, and really one of the best options that we have is to work with a professional, because no matter what point in life that we find ourselves in, there are challenges and there's pain and overwhelm. We can use someone to talk to. I think in the past, many of us were raised to believe that if we just worked hard enough, if we could just figure it out on our own, if we just made more money, fill in the blank, that we would be shielded from hardship. And so we struggle alone without support. And in that aloneness, I see often some things happening, right? I see women at the end of the day who are exhausted and overwhelmed and over it. Remember in the last podcast, we talked about what it looked like to be over it, overtired, overexhausted, overcommitted, over all the things. We yell at our family, our loved ones, because they're our safe place and we feel terrible in the process. And we don't know how to change. So we end up repeating the same cycle again and again and again. Or this might have happened to me today. I put my purse in one location and someone moved it. Or maybe you can't find your kids' uniforms or the paperwork you were supposed to fill out, or you forget to enroll them, or the bill that needs to be in the mail today, and you have work documents, right? You're in a constant state of stress from the overwhelm. Or maybe for you, you just want a night off, right? It's constant. You're putting people to sleep. You're doing things for your children. You're at sports. You want a free moment. And you're probably sure that you won't get it until kids move away from college, move to college. And maybe it's even deeper. You're worried about your financial situation or your relationship with a spouse or a friend or a family member or someone you love getting sick or killed, or fill in the blank, right? We have so much to deal with. And I think the pandemic illuminated to us so many of the gaps, so many of the fears. And we know on some level that mental and emotional health matters, right? Countless studies, I can link to them if you want, show that our emotional health, our mental health impacts our physical health, our relationships, what we believe is possible, all the things that are outcomes. And we want to feel safe and secure and confident. Well, I believe that coaching really helps you make sense of your life and sense of your purpose and really plan for action and understand how you can change your thoughts and emotions to create new action. It's really the behavioral interventions that are result from the cognitions. And I want you to hear this. Even if you don't know it right now, let my belief carry you. You are strong. You are courageous. You are born for a purpose. You were designed for a purpose. And you, my sweet friend, are worth an investment, worth the investment in your health and sanity, 100%. And so I'm speaking to you. You're listening to this. You are here right now because you care about your mental health. You hold the key to your own joy, sweet friends, and it's in your brain, right? It's in your body. And so when you understand the value of your mental health, I wonder, who do you turn to for support? And oftentimes we turn to well-meaning and incredible friends, right? That don't always have the tools or that are biased in the way that we see. And that's where a great coach, a great therapist can really come in and help us see the gaps, identify the gaps, and understand what we're doing here. I'm just writing a note down for myself. So really coaching is non-judgmental, unconditional, open space where you can see what your brain is doing. And sometimes we think that we have the skills to navigate things alone. Or if we just read that one more book, that we can figure it out on our own. I know I did this for years, sweet friends. But research has shown that verbalizing your feelings in situations can have a significant therapeutic effect on the brain. In other words, as I tell my children, getting your worries out and in the light of day, I tell my clients this, even the ones that you don't think are weighing down on you. When you do that with someone trained to help you manage it, it's an incredible thing for your well-being. So coaching really helps you learn about your brain, shift your thinking. Well, know that your thoughts impact your emotions and your emotions impact your results or your actions that drive your results, right? That you can change your thoughts, that thoughts are temporary and not fact. You can build healthy relationships and boundaries. You can be organized and focused and productive. Takes work, sweet friends. You can feel calm at least enough to weather a storm that comes your way. Have the perspective and the freedom to make time and make choices that matter to you. I think so often in our family lives, we don't see the opportunity there. Feel like you can be hardworking professional and an awesome mom and wife and friend or whatever you want to be. That it's not either or, it's not all or nothing. You can get stuff done, or another word, know that you aren't what you do, those lies, you aren't what you have, or you aren't who likes you or what others think of you. But it's often so difficult to see what our own brain is doing, how our brain is working, and to step back. I've seen some really incredible things happen. I have to be honest with this. People who already have the skills. So what I believe deeply is that you have the tools deep inside of you. You have the resources. You have the drive and the innate motivation towards health. But sometimes you need resources or tools to help you just make sense, how to learn to work with your brain instead of against it. And so many of us have deep desire to change, deep desire towards health. But we often, our brains are stuck in patterns and ruts. And so when you have someone else outside of your brain saying, "Psst, have you thought of this?" your perspective changes and your life changes. My whole purpose is to change your thoughts, to change your life, right? Coaching supports transformation. Having a coach can change your life. Not only will you see that your thoughts, that you create your thoughts, but that you can create any result you want. You learn how to see your brain and the value of mindsight or metacognition or whatever. You will hear me constantly talk about Dr. Daniel Siegel, the love of my life, apart from my family, of course. And we know that one single shift in our thoughts have a ripple effect to everything in our lives. So we get clear about what thoughts are happening. We get it out of the jumble mess of your brain onto paper, and we just work with that. And when you have a coach, you see what your brain is doing. You write it down. You complete a daily mood log. You're like, oh my heavens, I see that I'm not my circumstances, that my circumstances or other people don't have to control me. And these shifts happen over and over again. They compound over time. And what you're left with is an entirely new belief system. We know that thoughts that we practice over and over become beliefs. When you change your belief system, you change everything in your life, because you have different thoughts that create new emotions that drive action that gets results. You're going to learn tools to change how you think about your life. You're going to identify those instruction manuals, right? This is my favorite thing. If you follow me on social media, you hear me talk about this a lot. Your instruction manual for you, for your marriage, for your parenting approach, for your productivity, not having kids, having kids, how you think about your life, all the things, right? I even say we have instruction manuals for how we think God should behave. People are uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, right? We'll do anything to stay in comfort because, right, we have these primitive brains. No one, yes, that is untrue. People are talking about this, but it's hard to listen. We have these primitive brains that are designed to do three things: seek pleasure, avoid pain, and keep us safe, right? So being comfortable is seeking, I mean, it's just easy. And like change is dangerous to our brains. We don't understand that, so we don't reach our goals. And oftentimes I hear people like, it should be easy, it should be light. Yes, it should, but it should be uncomfortable. It has to be uncomfortable. Doing new things, thinking new things creates dissonance. And what are we talking? How are we making conversations around dissonance real to us? You got to do the work. I think so many of us read books and we don't implement it. It stays a cognitive exercise. There's where trying to do this on your own is often different, because you have someone who's done the work, lived it, right? Deeply lived it, and can coach you through what it looks like to live the work. Coaching also allows you to be seen. It provides accountability. There's someone who's like, hey, now I will say this. I am quite talented at holding you accountable in a non-judgmental way. And I think at first people don't understand what it's like to be seen and not to be judged. In fact, people often comment when they are doing their exit interview that was the most compelling piece to this work, is that they would come on the first calls and say, I didn't get it done. And I'm like, that's fine. That's where the work is. It's not in getting it done and not thinking about it. It's in the hardship. It's in the change. It's in setting up the foundations. But so often we have lived lives of beating ourselves up, of not being enough. That's what we've been told. And for someone to see you and say, no problem, but I know you can do this, and I will hold that belief for you. And you're not going to change your action until you change your thoughts. So if you don't take action, I know what to coach you on. Okay. And I think if you are with a coach, I've seen it. I've been coached by a lot of coaches by this point. And I can tell the coaches that are judgmental. You've seen them. How do you hold the space? And I think this comes from my background. I got to wait for it, right? Until we get to that point in my outline, from my background in therapy. Because your progress is your progress. And that's where coaches say, like, look, I got my clients this, I got my client. They're doing the work, not the coach. That's where I think there is a challenge with coaching, in that we've made it about the accomplishments we get rather than the internal work we're doing. And I think that's why people will often, make incredible recommendations about how I can market differently to get a bigger client list or a bigger income. And to me, that isn't the work. It is staying in integrity, for saying you are responsible for you, but I will give you the tools and I will believe in you until you believe in you. But it takes work on your part. Okay, sorry, that was the tangent. And really, my job is to tell you the truth, but help you see that you don't have to judge. You don't have to beat yourself up. When you get coaches that are using coercion and almost they're trying to get you to buy into something, it makes me nervous. So I imagine, for me, coaching is like my dad's work. He draws house plans. People come to him and say, I want a mudroom. And they might say to him, I want a mudroom in the basement, which makes no sense because it's not a walkout basement, right? And he would say, okay, I've made all of these plans before. I know that a mudroom in the basement won't really serve you. You'll have to walk downstairs with your muddy dog and shoes and clothes to put everything down there, and you're walking it through. So it's like that. And I'm exaggerating to prove a point, right? But I've done the work. I've walked people through the work. And sometimes I know how to help you get the result and the product that you feel called to, that you feel compelled to do, the purpose. You're going to find your purpose in this world. You want someone with the experience and expertise to help you, who's done it before, who's drawn up plans. And really, house plans are life plans. And so as a coach, I'm also not there to judge or coerce, but I'm there to help you see your thoughts as thoughts and not facts. I'm here to help you. And your brain, we know that consistency is the key to behavior change. We know that. So we're coming together, we're doing exercises. How often do you take the time now to create the result you want in your life? Now, I put it on the calendar because I've trained myself to do that. I have specific times, once a day, to do the work. I learn, I never stop learning. And when we realize that doing the work to rewire our brain, it is work. It's not going to happen overnight or in one session. But coaching does get you results quicker than if you were doing it on your own because you have an unbiased outside party. I get it when you want to do it on your own. I tried my own coaching for years. Someone said this to me, like a coach said, one of the most expensive ways to learn is not by hiring a coach, it's through your own experience. Oh my heavens. Yes, that was my story. I had started businesses. I floundered through it, hired a coach. It got my thoughts clear. And when I understood that my thoughts create my results, I was like, boom, bing, bang, boom. Even though, sweet friends, I was trained in cognitive behavioral therapy. So I want you to think about, what would your mental health, your emotional health, your life look like after a year of once a week looking at your thoughts and emotions and doing the homework in between sessions? What if you had a coach to walk you through all the areas you want to change, all the areas of possibility? I want you to think about that, okay? And here's what I want to say about how coaching is different than therapy. And this is the toughest conversation for me, knowing that I have my master's in psych and that I was trained in both, so dual trainings. I only coach now. But my work as a coach is incredibly informed by two things I learned in graduate school. One, and both do this, although I think a lot of life coaches don't have training, or leadership coaches, and they're using their own experience without the formal training. And I'll talk about that. But both help us process our thoughts, our emotions, our actions. Now, traditional coaches are focused on actions, and you see that they're focused on actions and results. But for me and my worldview and philosophy, we aren't what we do, and we aren't what people think of us, and we aren't what we have. And so when we understand, I help people get clear about who they are, what they think about themselves. So I use CBT tools in my coaching practice. Cognitive behavioral therapists do the same thing. And if you find a great CBT, go all in. I've trained with Dr. David Burns of his books, Feeling Good and Feeling Great. When Panic Attacks is another of his books, and he is a CBT guru. I've also studied hard with Dr. Albert Ellis. You've heard me talk about him before and quote him. And there's a great need for both therapy and coaching. And I will often, I know there is distrust amongst some therapists regarding life coaches, amongst some just regular people about life coaches, and I get it, right? And I too fear that there isn't as rigorous as a training as I had to go through to get my master's and my coaching certification. And I've done numerous coaching certifications. There are programs out there that don't require more than a week or two of training. Look at me. This work takes years to understand. But on the other side, I know of a therapist who decided that she wanted to go into coaching, did not get a coaching certification, did not have CBT training, and it is drastically different. She's offering coaching. I think it's important to look for what you need, and do they have the appropriate training for your needs? Or someone qualified to do both, but offers one. And I do have to say this, Carl Mabed, says, and really dug into this belief that individuals are the creators and artists of their lives, and frequently involved clients in goal setting and life planning and inventing their futures, right? All tenets of the approaches of today's coaching, the coaching that you see. And my favorite book is no, it's not my favorite book. It's it's a great book from Carl Rogers, Client-Centered Therapy, and also Albert Ellis was really the driving force in my desire to switch to coaching. Coaching is like this wonderful blend of consulting and organizational and personal development training, right? And there is an international coaching federation that has approaches and ways that and common principles and ethical framework. And I always say this, once the focus is on assessment diagnosis and treatment of mental illness. That work is therapy. Coaches work with people who are functioning. They might be struggling. They are not functioning to their highest calling, their highest purpose. I work with everyone, so you really can understand, but someone who is not trained has no business working with someone. And really, coaches almost always, and so do therapists, address an individual's mindset and attitude by uncovering self-limiting beliefs, automatic negative thoughts, and I also believe this, and I think therapists hold this worldview as well, that you have all the answers inside of you. You just need to draw those out by asking yourself the right questions. And please look for people who are qualified in the area that you feel comfortable with, that is non-judgmental, that does not make your success about them. It's about you. You've done the work. Okay, so who works with me? So here's the deal. In the world, everybody wants you to niche down. You're doing an online business niche. If you're doing just figure out what you need to do. But I don't. I coach everyone, from professional moms to teachers to lawyers to business owners. I love it all. I've worked with 25-year-old men and 72-year-old women. I've coached kids and teens. The work is the same, sweet friends. I believe and know that when I see the light in you, I'm going to help you see it in yourself. I just love the work. And how do I work with clients? I'm sorry, I'm way over time here. I offer two ways of working with me. One-on-one coaching, where you get coached specifically to something that you want to work on, or maybe you just want to work on emotional health, or getting clear about what thoughts are driving how you feel day in and day out, or getting clear about how you expect others to act, your instruction manual. So one-on-one coaching works really well for someone who might not have the time for group coaching. They're like, bottom line it for me, just tell me what to do, I'm gonna do it. You get access to all the things, right? One-on-one, once a week. You get, I give you assignments, homework, suggestions. Obviously, there are always suggestions in between sessions. Now, I will tell you, cognitive behavioral therapist, in the way I was trained, you have to sign something that says you will do homework between sessions. I get it. I mean, if I was asked to do homework all the time, I don't know, I would stop treatment, right? So I'm not going to judge. And then I also have, so that's one option. I have a group coaching program. Group coaching is confusing to people. And it was confusing to me, having administered group therapy sessions, right? It's beautiful and amazing, and it is so inspiring. So my group coaching program is called the Courageous Life Society, and it's a group of women all wanting to work on a topic of the month, and we all go all in and we support each other. I don't think I've been in a community, maybe it's just because I'm biased, but I hear it all the time, that people feel valued and accepted. And that's all that matters to me, that no one feels like they're not good enough, or they're not getting it, or that they're behind, right? So we have one coaching session a week. It is an hour. You come get coached. I give you exercises, all the fun things. We have a co-working hour, fun times. And we work from 9 to 11 using the Pomodoro technique. I do sing, I do talk about people's hair, I mean, in between. So we work for 25 minutes. I get more work done in that session than ever. It's not what I am here to talk about. Anyway, you also, I coach on a topic every month: courageous purpose, courageous belief, courageous action, all the things, right? How to get stuff done, fill in the blank. We have 11 action guides. In July, we will be a year old, and I'm so excited. So to celebrate, we have a summer camp coming up. So you can join Courageous Life Society for 3 months. You get a one-on-one coaching session, 2 cooking classes, crafting hours, yoga, meditation, the coaching calls, the co-working calls, and also the classes that I teach. I teach master classes on specific topics. This last month was on mindfulness. And so you will have access to all of those. When you join the Courageous Life Society, you have, again, 11 action guides that you're going to go through. You might want to pick not what we're working on. You want to pick something else. Then you print out the action guide and you go through it. Now, I will tell you in the beginning, they were about 70 pages. I have just figured life out, and they're much shorter now, doable, but you can read those at your leisure, right? So I am so excited. And you can join the Courageous Life Society at any point. It's month to month unless you join the sweet summer camp. But anybody that joins CLS is in the summer camp. So you choose how you want to do it. But anyway, that's how I do my work. I believe in the inherent value of every individual. It is important. We get this one life. It is so important that we recognize and we lean into and think thoughts that, like, we're figuring it out, that we can do it, that we are worthy. I teach you how to think thoughts, how to ladder anchor thoughts. If you're not at belief yet, I teach you all of those things. Clients come and they're like, I can't figure out this thought. I'm like, I got you, boo. That's what it's like to work with someone who started in 2003, right? And I trained as a coach in 2009. I've worked in England. I've worked for people in Australia and right, like all over Europe. So I have a lot of experience and I want to help, and it's my passion. And it's my calling, it's my deep calling. So if you have questions, if you're like, I want to see, you can go to my website and book a free discovery call. I think it might be 15 minutes or 30 minutes, not quite sure, but it can be 30 if you need to talk to me. And who am I kidding? I can't even record this in 30 minutes, right? So you go there and you can get more information. It's Jessica Stong, STONG, at gmail.com. Nope, jessicastong.com. Didn't even remember my web address. And I'm doing live transcripts as we're doing this, and it said jessicastyle.com. That's not Stong, STONG. Okay, sweet friends, I'm so grateful for every week that you watch, that you listen to the podcast, you send me comments, you cheer me on, you are doing incredible work and inspiring me every day. I'm so grateful for each of you. XOXO, have a great and courageous week. Mwah.